Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar presented by Sensory Knowles and guest analyst Parks Associates. My name is Joe Murphy. I will be the moderator for today's session. I'm the Vice President of Marketing at Sensory and a founder at vocalize.ai. And today we are talking about smart appliances and a complete voice control solution for smart appliances. We will be reserving 15 minutes at the end of this webinar for Q&A. So if you have questions along the way, please put them in the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. And this webinar is being recorded, and everyone who registered will receive a link to the recording of the webinar. So without further ado, let me introduce our panelists. So if all panelists could unmute their video, and we'll start with Jeff Rogers at Sensory.
Hey, good morning, all. Great to be here. This will be a pretty interesting webinar, and I appreciate having both Knowles and Parks Associates here. Quick intro to myself, Vice President of Sales for Sensory and a co-founder. Excited to talk about speech in appliances and what we can do there today.
Thank you, Jeff. How about Chris at Parks Associates?
Hi, everyone. Thanks to Sensory and Knowles for having me here. I'm a senior analyst in the smart home team at Parks Associates. And for those who aren't familiar with us, we are a market research and consulting firm focused on emerging consumer technology markets. For 30 years, we've studied this space. We have a series of executive events focused on consumer IoT and entertainment topics each year. And maybe more importantly than that, we publish syndicated studies in the form of industry reports, consumer work, market trackers, and product service forecasts. And at the core of all of that, and the source of all of our kind of best information, is a quarterly survey of 10,000 US households with broadband access. So I'm going to be drawing on some of that information today in my presentation.
Thanks, Chris. Looking forward to it. Vikram.
Yeah, hi. My name is Vikram Srivastava. I'm Senior Director of Product Marketing at Knowles. I'm specifically going to be talking today about our AISonic product line, which basically includes several DSPs as a part of a product family that focuses on far-field applications for voice. And looking forward to telling you more about our fit on the smart appliances front.
Thank you, Vikram. And finally, Sib.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sib, working as a Director of Firmware Engineering in Knowles AISonic team. I have been into Knowles for about 9 years, focusing on development and deployment of Knowles DSPs into various customer systems. In my role, I have enabled various audio applications to run into our various DSPs. Turn these applications to low power performance centric audio application. And one of these applications is a VoiceHub from Sensory as we are talking today. And I'll take you through how seamless this VoiceHub integrates into our DSP, one of our DSP named Chelsea. And we'll go through it more in my session. Thank you.
Okay, great, Sib. And now I'll ask all panelists to please stop their video and mute their audio. And Chris from Parks Associates will share with us their insights.
Okay. Looking good, Joe?
Looks good, Chris. You can show your video while you're presenting.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, we're seeing your slide notes view now.
Okay. How about that?
Perfect. Go for it.
All right, great. So thanks again for having us. Parks Associates is really excited to be participating in any briefing like this and learning about new technology as it's coming to the market. We'll be asking consumers about it, as I mentioned in our quarterly surveys, and this type of information is really worthwhile. I actually have a industry report that's coming out soon that's about video and audio analytics, and so that covers some of these topics, and I actually have Knowles and Sensory included in there. So be on the lookout for that. Now, for today, I wanted to kind of reflect on recent trends and data related to voice control and smart appliances. And while I was doing that, I decided we really need to talk about 4 specific topics. The growth of the smart home products, and specifically voice control, are kind of topics 1 and 2, and then industry trends in the smart appliance space, are interesting and notable. And then definitely we need to hit on a really hot topic right now that's coming up in every conversation I have with our manufacturer partners that are launching a new product, and every conversation I have with industry players, which is how do we leverage edge technology and cloud technology to kind of power our AI inferencing. All right, so first let's talk about product adoption. In Q1 in 2016, just 3% of households told us they owned a smart speaker. And now in Q1 of this year, we see that number at almost 50. So that's a major growth, and that's deep penetration. We also consider the fact that each owner has over 2 speakers. And the reason why that's true is because the consumer value proposition for smart speakers and smart displays really increases as each device is added to the household. So having multiple smart speakers or displays in a home really unlocks more functionality for those devices. Things like multi-room music and instant access to the voice assistant wherever the user is in the home. And that was really all facilitated by the lower price of entry-level speakers, making it easier for people to buy more than one. And also that kind of removes a barrier for people who are starting from zero to go out and get a couple of smart speakers into their home. All right, and the next product I'm kind of highlighting here is smart doorbells. Now these little cameras represent a relatively new category, but they've quickly become one of the hottest and created serious competition for mainstays like network cameras and security services. Now, smart appliances are also new, and they kind of look similar data-wise here in this chart, but I should note that that's a consumer. We're asking a consumer, do you have any smart appliance? If you break it down by category, which is probably the more honest way to do it, you really see about 5% by product. So it's a little bit behind. It hasn't had the same explosive growth compared to less expensive smart home products, but that's probably due to the cost, like we just mentioned, and also the shorter life cycle of things like speakers and other small devices in the home. But that doesn't mean we can't learn lessons from how those markets behave when we're thinking about smart appliances. And one kind of important lesson that I want to get at, and the reason why I included doorbells here, is that the reason why they achieved that rapid growth was not just quality or variety. The answer was both. So the story we saw for video doorbells started with Ring being introduced, and then as new entrants came in, they drove the price down, and product tiers kind of emerged. Here we see Amazon now owning Ring, has a complete line going from $60 to $350, and it covers every type of customer segment that you might have. Even the lowest tier models have good technology in terms of video resolution and motion detection, and the average cost of doorbells across the past couple of years went from $162 in 2018 down to $107 in 2020. So that's a big deal. It's a big drop, and of course during that time adoption went way up. And meanwhile, the AI features were also evolving, and sort of the top of the line premium models, you have access to things like facial recognition and some sophisticated reporting as well. But having this wide variety allowed all the different types of consumers to right size their access point security and communication needs. They were really able to choose a doorbell that fit exactly their price point and also still had the features that they needed. So while video doorbells have come to the forefront due to their growth, and that takes up a lot of our attention because they've been growing so fast, smart speakers still are quietly the biggest. Sometimes we consider them a connected entertainment device, and so it gets set aside a little bit in our analysis, but really they also have a core function that is controlling smart home devices. So we ask our respondents, if you consider the following data, we ask our respondents to look at this big list of different things they can do with their speaker and all these different types of devices they control, more than I even have on the list here. And they, as you can see, they have appliances down the list at 8. And if you remove two of the lighter blue ones there are basically entertainment. So if you think of it as a smart home control, the consumers are saying that they would be happy with appliances to controlling them with their device. But then we follow up by asking the consumers how they actually use their smart speakers, and almost everybody says music, podcasts, or requesting information. This is like digital assistant stuff. And then smart appliances is all the way down at 15. So the gap in between desired use and actual use is really wide. And I feel like that means that there's opportunity. And another thing to keep in mind when thinking about smart speakers and voice control as a concept here is coming from some data where we ask our respondents how many new skills that they learn in a given year, and you see that half of them say none. So this group of people is basically just using the speaker for the task that they learned initially upon buying it, and we see only another quarter basically adding 1 or 2 new skills in a year. So that's, keep in mind that there's either an education issue or an issue where the benefits are not the right benefits for consumers. Something to keep in mind when designing speaker feature sets for tools like speakers. Now, just getting a little bit away from smart speakers and realizing that there are all sorts of different form factors for voice controlled devices, we saw an explosion of this type of feature across the whole smart home. What started as a smartphone-based solution, with just Siri and Google Now, has expanded to smart speakers with Alexa and other solutions like Samsung's Bixby, and then Comcast's Xfinity voice-enabled remotes, for example, other devices that are voice controlled. And then from these core proprietary voice solutions existing in the space, a whole ecosystem of voice-enabled devices from third parties came to life. And that's why we have all these different icons shown here. And some of these companies chose to build their own voice assistants directly into their products, like Ecobee did with their thermostats and Brilliant did with their smart lighting. But other companies instead decided to go with the works with approach, like Vivint and iRobot robot vacuum cleaners. So if you think about all the different ways that consumers are able to use their voice to control devices, it really touches every part of the home. Finally, focusing a little bit more, in the voice space about how people use their voice, we see again that more than half are saying that they use their voice to turn devices off and on, and that's actually higher than an app. So that basic functionality of just turning a device off and on is definitely a core and important feature for a device that is going to be voice operated. And then in other cases, we're seeing that the apps are overcoming voice. Like people are more likely to use an app to do different features and set schedules and things like that. So there is some opportunity there for voice to take a little bit more away from apps by being easier to use in terms of doing some other functionalities, but for sure, everything needs to do off and on. Now, how does voice control work? This is a hot topic that I was mentioning earlier before, and it really comes from a common paradigm in technology. Local or centralized has always been the question. Because smart home devices are connected, there's a potential to outsource tasks from the device to the cloud. And then meanwhile, you could instead do the work locally on the network edge. So edge processing has its advantages, but it also requires sufficient space, energy, and financial investment to have a powerful chipset, sufficiently powerful chipset to do the task that it can do. And it needs to also house the necessary software. Compared to that, you have cloud processing, which requires connectivity and data transfer capabilities, along with a reasonably good cloud solution on the other side. So there's different considerations there. Advancements have come on both sides at different times over the past 10 years, and the pendulum has really swung back and forth. And right now, a new thing that we're seeing is that some device makers are attempting to kind of split the difference and use a hybrid role that would allow them to benefit from both kind of approaches. So next thing we need to look at is kind of an industry factor. The smart space is really just, the smart appliance space has really just been a big deal since 2018, 2019. And that's when we saw kind of a bunch of new players in the space. The features, that are the smart features are a mix of pragmatic things like reminders for service, or reminders that consumables need to be reordered. And then on the other side of that, you have features that feel straight up out of the Jetsons, like an oven that cooks for you and a fridge that tells you what groceries you need. So there's a lot of different features out there in this relatively new space. You also have traditional brands like Sharp and Maytag represented. LG and Samsung are in the space coming from more of a tech side. And then new entrants startups like June, we have a June oven in the picture there, are coming in and have lots of VC money to do aggressive marketing. And then, of course, as soon as a new market was established in technology, Amazon had to get on board. So they came into the market with inexpensive models that work with or even bundled with Alexa devices like Echo, like this microwave that's here. So the options really do cover the gamut. And this is, and also relevant to our voice conversation today, we do have some data where we ask our appliance owners that use voice control, we ask our appliance owners how many of them use voice control, and it's about 30% of them are doing that. And that varies across product lines a little bit, but figure roughly a third. So thinking of opportunities in the smart appliance space, starting, it's only been around since 2019, but we have seen the data be relatively stable over that time. And this stability represents a challenge for competitors, kind of fighting over the same piece of pie, but it's also an opportunity for those to grow it. So manufacturers can either focus on the core smart home buyer, which is a tech savvy middle class / kind of upper middle class family, or they can go after the greenfield, which is mass market, which goes outside this kind of demographic description. Also keep in mind that current buyers are using the standard appliance retail channel or the online retail channel, and these kind of have both of their own challenges. Retail channel requires well-educated sellers who can communicate the benefit of the smart features, while online retail requires good messaging, collateral, and video demos that quickly convey it to someone who's shopping online. Also, purchase intent remains high, but it should be noted that people who intend to purchase don't always follow through. So people who are trying to actually trigger purchase from these people who are intending should consider that a major impetus of buying is a move, and that the audience is a little more urban right now. So to recap what we've covered, right sizing really contributed to video doorbell growth, and that's something we should consider also in smart appliances. Smart speakers and digital assistants brought voice to the mainstream and kind of showed proof of concept in terms of voice control. And then with AI features like voice control, there's a lot of considerations to be made about edge, cloud, or hybrid in terms of the pros and cons. And then finally, making a choice on how to differentiate by who you reach out to and whether you're going to try and go kind of for the traditional smart home buyer or make a new venture. So thanks to everyone for listening. If you want to know more or have questions that we don't get to answer in this time after, I have my contact information here. And then I'm going to pass over control to my friends at Sensory.
All right, thank you, Chris. Jeff, would you tell us about Sensory and Sensory's VoiceHub?
Absolutely. If I could just get the screen. There we go. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Chris. That was super interesting, and I appreciate the comments about voice and appliance. And some of my discussion today, I think will really focus on why is voice down at number 15 in appliances, and how can we change that? So anyway, just a quick intro to Sensory, who we are. So we are pioneers on edge AI. We've been doing this a lot of years, more than 25 years. With a focus on developing really cool tech based on neural nets and deep learning. We've been doing neural nets since the beginning of our time back in the 90s. We also have voice and vision technologies for biometrics, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And key here is that Sensory's technologies and products have shipped into literally billions and billions of products worldwide. And you can see around my screen here, many of our customers. I couldn't actually fit them all on. It was getting a little crowded, which is kind of a fun thing to say. But on the appliance side, we have had quite a bit of experience, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that today as well. Okay. So from a technology suite perspective, first off, our truly hands-free, we're really well known for this. This is used for wake words and phrase spotted commands. All of this runs on our partner Knowles chips, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well as we go through here. Our Truly Natural is our large vocabulary natural language recognizer. I'll show you a product that's using that technology in the appliance space as well. But really, it allows a customer to talk in, as I'm talking to you now, in a very natural way, using NLU so that it can kind of understand the intent of what I'm saying. And again, this can all run on device. And then our VoiceHub. I think many on this webinar have seen some of the presentations on our VoiceHub, and I will do an intro to VoiceHub as well. This is a real game changer, both for Sensory and for the industry, because it allows very quick development of custom wake words, phrase spotted commands, and natural language grammars. And so for product ideation and customization, it really answers to those 2 points. Truly Secure is our face biometric. This is used by many banks and in mobile phones and tablets around the world today. Truly Secure Speaker Verification. This is the voice biometric side of our biometrics. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as I go through this. And then Truly Secure Sound ID is our Sound ID, which is defined to recognize environmental sounds both in home and out of home. And there could be some interesting use cases there in appliances as well. So talking about truly hands-free in appliances, I appreciate Chris sticking on a bunch of pictures of appliances, and I've done the same. All of these are using sensory technology, which is of course lots of fun. But our truly hands-free is designed to be always on listening, so it can run very low power. And again, with our partner Knowles, we can get very low power for those devices that are either battery powered, which typically doesn't happen in appliances as much, but it is important for the green energy standard. So this supports custom branded wake words, and again, so I don't have to say, hey, Alexa, I want to tell my oven to do this thing here. Why not just talk to the oven? And why not build the brand of the product itself? And so custom branded wake words, I think, are really important. Phrase spotted commands for kind of quick conversations or quick things for simple appliances. And I've created a couple of demos to show you that here today. We support many different languages, over 24 different languages. And within our VoiceHub, you'll see there's a dozen or more languages. And then all this is designed to work in high accuracy and noise. I love walking through trade shows where Samsung is showing the refrigerator as an example, and I'm like, hey, hi Bixby, from 3 or 4 meters away in a trade show, and it still recognizes, and people are always amazed at that. Truly Natural, as I mentioned, is our large vocabulary natural language engine. Again, this is fast because there's no cloud required for this. And in the picture here, I've got the Farberware microwave, which is using our Truly Natural and Truly Hands-Free. And so again, a user can just speak very naturally to this microwave oven. I can say, cook for 35 seconds or set timer for 10 minutes or whatnot. So basically anything I would use where I would push buttons, I can now do with voice. So super cool. And again, using our Truly Natural engine. So voice biometrics in appliances, found a picture of a little girl twisting the knobs of the oven. One of the things that we can do is we can combine our speaker verification with a wake word or with commands. We support both text dependent and text independent. Again, I can, if it's an enrolled fixed wake word, then when I say the wake word, it can say, yeah, that was me saying the wake word, and I can go ahead and turn on the oven as an example. But if the kids say the wake word, it can recognize that the wake word was said, and they could check the time or they could set a timer, but they wouldn't be able to actually turn on the oven as an example. And so again, combining voice biometrics is a pretty nice solution. I've seen appliances today where you have to like lift something and push a special button to turn it on. And anytime you create a hassle or friction for the user, typically that feature is just not used. And so using voice is a very simple way to add some security where either it's just not used at all or where it's a hassle to be used. And again, all this runs on device, so I don't have to worry about cloud connections and privacy and other types of concerns that are out in the market today. So voice in appliances, I think one of the key areas is simplicity. And I think to Chris's point where voice is down at number 15, if I have any product where I have to connect to my personal Wi-Fi, and then I have to get the right app, and then I have to name it, and then I have to enable the skill, and I have to go through all these different steps, there's a huge percentage of the population that just simply won't do that. With Sensory, it's really easy. You buy the product, you plug it in, and you start talking to it. I don't have to do all those other steps above. And so, again, in the Farboy microwave, based on our truly hands-free and truly natural, runs completely on device. So I don't have to go through any of the connectivity issues. And then I just say, again, set timer for 10 minutes or defrost 1 pound of ground beef, or cook for 1.5 minutes, or cook for 1 minute 30 seconds. Again, with the NLU, I can recognize and pull the intent out of what I'm saying. And then open door. People love this feature. I've got one in my house, and I show that, and that voice to mechanical function is just, I mean, it's really simple to do, but it's a total wow, feature. So couple different demos that I created just to introduce our VoiceHub to you. One is with this Jura coffee maker. And so again, the demo is completely based on truly hands-free. This runs 100% on the Knowles chips. So it's a wake word, and then it's phrase spotted commands. Keep it really simple, keep it low cost, high value. And so the question is, why add voice when you can just push the buttons? So couple answers to that. One is product differentiation. And with so many products in the market, companies are always looking for ways to differentiate, make their product better, different from the competition. It's great for those that can't read the small text. I've got my reading glasses on. If I take those off and I'm standing right in front of something, it's hard to read that small text. And so if I can just talk to it, that's a lot easier. Ease of use, it's perfect. I can be over at the sink. I can get the coffee started. I don't have to worry about walking over and touching things all the time. And for sure, there's a coolness factor. And so in the demo that I've created it with VoiceHub, the demo commands are coffee and cafe and espresso and flat white, etc. You can see there. I'll show you that in just 1 second. The other one I did is for a dishwasher. And this is kind of a personal peeve of mine, because my dishwasher has the little keys on the front. And I always have to kind of stand back and do this thing, because if I'm not wearing my reading glasses, I can't see the text as well. And so same kinds of questions, it's the exact same answers I think could apply to this. And so in the demo that I've got, you can see I've got different commands like pro wash and normal and light and sandy rinse and 4-hour delay. It would be great just to be able to say, hey, dishwasher, do this. And again, a custom wake word that I've created for this. So let me jump to VoiceHub really quick. I think I'm just about out of my time here. So just a quick intro to VoiceHub. And I think many of you have seen this, so I'll go through this a little bit quick here. So the first thing I did is create a custom wake word. So in this case, I just called it the Jura wake word. Then I selected the language that I want. You can see that there's all these languages already supported in VoiceHub. For my demo today, I'll just stick with US English. Next, I choose the size that I want. So since I'm running on Knowles, I want to keep the power down. In this case, I'm using a smaller model size here, but you can see I can go up to 1 megabyte on the wake word, or keep it small. And then my output format again it's already defined as the DSP for the Knowles Chelsea chip. I've got different operating points. Single means that the engine's going to come up with its own balance between false accepts and false rejects. Or all points means I'm going to give you all of those different points along the frontier graph. Typically, there's 15 to 20 of them. And then the developer can choose, I want to lean more towards less false accepts or less false rejects. So the next thing I do is I just type in the wake word that I want. In this case, I just typed in hey Jura, and then I hit build. You'll notice there's a little speaker over here. If I click on that, it's using a TTS engine to tell me basically what the recognizer is saying.
Hey Jura.
Or I'm sorry, what the recognizer would be listening for. So that sounds correct. So then I build it, the build's complete, and then I can download. So then the next thing I did is I took my wake word that I created, kept all the same settings that I want there, and then I typed in a command set. Same thing where I just literally type them in, hit build, I've got the speaker icon over here, and it goes through it. So now once all that's done, I can download the model. I click OK, and so it pops up a QR code that I can just load directly into an Android or iOS phone, or I can download the model and run it directly on Knowles. And so in a minute, Sib from Knowles will show how he's taken this same model and then running it as part of their tools. So I'll just use a QR code. So here's my phone, and I just scan that QR code. That loads the demo in. And I can do kind of quick testing and make sure that, yeah, it all sounds good, works well. So here you can see that I've got the commands in here now. It's listening for the wake word. Hey, Jira, I'll take an espresso. And so even though I said I'll take, it's still recognized. So that phrase spotting makes it work. The performance is outstanding. Even if I put words before it or after it, or it's a noisy background. Hey, Jira, milk foam. Hey, Jira, I'd like a cappuccino. And you notice that time I said the wake word plus the other stuff and plus the thing I wanted, and I said it all in one natural phrase. And so the fact that we can do all this on a very small, low power chip is very powerful to the appliance side. And again, there's no data or information going to the cloud, so it makes it very fast. And then with the phrase spotting, it makes it easy to use. So just going to my dishwasher commands, you can see here that I did a similar thing where I created a custom wake word of hey dishwasher. And then I have all these commands in here, and the same kind of thing where I can download, and then I can just say those commands. And for time, I won't do this demo. It's similar to the last one, but again, I can say things like, you know, I want to sandy rinse or light wash or express wash or whatnot. So Sensory's focus is really on making it very simple for appliance manufacturers or others to add voice to products. So with the VoiceHub tool, it makes ideation development very quick. It makes it easy to change commands out to create those custom wake words, and then add that feature to an appliance where literally the customer gets the appliance, brings it home, plugs it in, or installs it and starts using it. So thanks very much. I'm going to turn it back over to Joe.
Thanks, Jeff. Great stuff with the VoiceHub. And now, Vikram, would you lead us through an overview of Knowles?
Sure, thank you, Joe. Let's get my presentation up. All right. So yeah, a quick introduction to Knowles for some of you who may not know about us. So Knowles is a company that's been making MEMS microphones for more than 70 years. We are deployed in various consumer electronics as well as mobile phones, computing devices and such. We are all, shipping almost 2 billion microphones a year. This year, we'll pass the milestone of shipping a cumulative of 20 billion microphones ever since we've been in the MEMS microphone technology space. You know, a very strong presence in the audio space, especially when it comes to listening. And that's what makes the AISonic product line so interesting at Knowles, is that right behind the microphones comes the audio and speech processing. And that's where the AISonic team has been focusing on providing a range of technologies for voice and speech applications. So in terms of AISonic, like I said earlier, we have a family of DSPs ranging from a very small single core that's also embedded inside a MEMS microphone to a multi-core DSP on the high-end side. But what we are really known for is our power consumption and the amount, basically our power efficiency for very complex compute capability that's required in various audio front-end applications, either for voice UI, for voice communication, or even now some new machine learning applications as well. And that's really what's leading us to get some traction into you know, some of the consumer electronics markets like TVs, communication speakers like some prosumer conference speakers, some Bluetooth headsets, and the topic for today, which is white goods. And in order to basically support our customers in this space, we've now started focusing on releasing many system level solutions that allow our customers to basically you know, go from an idea, work with a plethora of CPUs and operating systems, and of course Knowles microphones to come up with a audio front-end solution that meets the requirements for your platform. On white goods specifically, I think both Chris and Jeff have covered quite a bit of this, so I'll spend some more time on some other things. But yes, right now the appliance market is right at a point where we are seeing a transition from the works with model to a built-in model. But both of these models basically suffer from adoption on the consumer side. Everything that's related to, adding your new appliance, your new smart appliance to a Wi-Fi network, taking pictures of QR codes, pairing that with your phone application, everything just a huge barrier to entry for mainstream adoption of voice. And basically what we really need for voice to be adopted and be successful in appliances is to have edge-based local commands that work without a network. And that's really where VoiceHub shines and helps with the adoption of voice into appliances. The other issue is also related to just audio front-end capability and acoustic challenges of an appliance. If you just look into a kitchen space these days, you could have large kitchens, you could have a lot of people in them. And as people are talking, are you going to be shouting over the noise that's in an average kitchen for your appliance to hear you? Or are you just going to talk softly, which is your natural, something like 65 dB? In which case, many of the times you'll be talking to your appliance in what we call negative SNR. That means your voice is actually lower than the ambient noise in the kitchen. And that is very challenging acoustically for an appliance. Similarly, in some of the new open concept kitchen designs, you need large ranges. You could be also controlling your appliance across the dining room. Like I said, there are a lot of noise sources. How do you detect that you're working on babble versus are you working on fans and motors and other vibrations that might affect the voice pickup and voice processing? And all of this basically requires a fairly powerful DSP to do the audio front-end processing. And not to forget the other challenges around, where do we put the mic array? Acoustically, what are the challenges to tune for the mic array placement and making sure that the beamforming and other technologies basically work effectively in a kitchen scenario. So, so along with the natural voice capability or phrase spotting to command the appliance, the DSP does a whole lot of other audio front-end technology like beamforming, noise suppression. Some of these technologies are now also seeing a transition to some machine learning-based methods, basically improving the performance and making that available at even lower power and lower cost. The final challenge from an integration of voice is also what we see right now from OEMs is when some of the OEMs choose to add voice. They think more of, okay, let me add a strong AP, let me add a screen, let me run Android, and let me add voice, using a high BOM approach. What Knowles has really been focusing on is more of a modular approach to adding voice. So the capability to working with an existing platform, let's talk about say a $400, $500 dishwasher or laundry equipment. How do you work with existing MCUs so that the voice add-on is very simple? And that's a part of our system level strategy. That basically is pushing us in the direction of how do we design really small modules that can work with existing MCU assemblies of that would just use knobs and buttons as opposed to moving to a full touch UI and an AP based solution. So we worked with multiple module vendors that have the capability of doing this, both from the capability of working with BLE or small MCU hosts, or having a fuller capacity of even having Wi-Fi connecting to AWS cloud, offering AVS integration. So Knowles has multiple partners as system integrators that can basically help OEMs or module makers, a traditional appliance assembly makers add voice and still stay very competitive from a BOM perspective. We also have some reference designs, like I mentioned earlier, very small modules, which are multi-mic with just our DSP on there, simple connector that can be used to connect to your existing MCU and AP board. So once again, Knowles, I think, has a solution where we not only just provide the DSP and the microphone, but also at the system level, a lot of software, both from firmware, operating system drivers, and of course, algorithm integration with technologies from Sensory. With that, I'll hand over to Sib for a demo.
Hi, let me just bring up the. Okay. So I'm going to present this one of the portal. How do you get access to our different hardware like that actually? So that's the solution portal and various kits which are available, and followed by a demo. So we have the website called solutions.knowles.com. So once you go there to solutions.knowles.com, you can register as a user. And once you register, so I have created my sample test user ID. So all the email is yahoo.com, but it's going to be like your company ID. So once you log in, actually, you can see various links and you go to the solution kits. Here, one of the kit is like 8201, which is Chelsea processor development kit, and our different other kits which are available as part of the solutions. And now once you ask for an access, then we'll give from Knowles side, we'll give the access to the website, and then you can download various tools and software, and you can see your solutions under My Solutions. Currently it is empty, but once you register, you'll see your solutions under this. So this is how you get to our portal. So once you get a portal, we'll upload the tools and data sheet and all associated softwares. You can see for 8201, which is Chelsea, we have two kits available. One is this one, the leftmost one, which is used for mainly for the development. So you can use PC, whether it's a Linux or Windows, as a host, and you can connect this kit to the PC. You can develop new components. You can develop a use case and test. The VoiceHub is a use case actually here. And then the second one, you can request this kit to via portal after registering. And the second one is our we call it universally available kit, where you can use Raspberry Pi as a host. You can do the similar thing what you are doing in a regular big board with the small one. You can test also end-to-end solution and your use case on this small board. This will be available in DigiKey Mauser in 2 weeks of time. I think it's about to be there actually. So you can order, and you can buy, and you can play around with the Raspberry Pi as a host system. Now I'll touch upon this. I'm going to show you like two demos. One is a single microphone voice trigger demo with a Sensory VoiceHub, and also a multi-microphone voice trigger, where there would be an audio front-end engine. So for a single microphone system, you have a Sensory VoiceHub running inside 8201, and we download the keyword model and command model what we have generated from the website, as Jeff has showed you. And then this can connect to a MCU, and then MCU does the event processing and takes an action. Something like you say, hey, Dishwasher, do something. So it goes to the MCU, and then it does the action, like turn on probably start the dishwasher or 4-hour rinse. The commands processing happens on the MCU side. The interrupt line, which is a GPIO actually. So once the keyword and command is detected inside 8201, it talks over the GPIO, interrupts MCU, telling that, okay, there is something pending for you to take an action. And then the MCU takes an action based on the user commands or keyword. So if you look at 8201, we can accommodate a bigger keyword and command model because it has like 1.4 MB of memory, which will enable you a number of keyword commands to be run into 8201. As you can see, it's a secure, private, and always on trigger. So your voice will never leave the DSP. It's going to stay in the DSP. It's always low power because it has an interrupt interface that you can see to the MCU. So it's always low power and always on processing and secure and private. So the single microphone to multi-microphone system in trigger word processing, where we tie a audio front-end engine actually just before the sensory VoiceHub processing unit. Chelsea can accommodate the audio front-end engine easily because it has a bigger memory, and then that audio front-end engines could be like beamformer, noise suppressor, and AC, and all together as well. You can see a better detection performance in low SNR condition. Like you have a microwave noise going on, washing machine noise going on in a kitchen, as Vikram talked about. So when in noisy scenario with a multi-microphone trigger word processing, you can get a better detection from the engine. Again, it's a secure and privacy. So I'm going to show you a demo. So here I don't have an MCU. I'll just show you with a PC software. We call it Ovid, and you can download once you give the access to the solutions.knowles.com. You can download those software, and then if you look at it, so this is the big board. This one is Chelsea. The middle chip is Chelsea, and there are codecs attached. And this is basically a speaker, which is a distractor. This could be like a coffee machine or a washing machine as well. But this easy to show as a speaker playing a distractor. And the microphone is mounted on top of this. You can say a coffee machine. So now I will show you a simple demo which I have prepared here. This is the tool Ovid. You can see, so I'll start the dishwasher command. Here, a single microphone system. It's a PDM interface, PDM microphone, which is connecting to something called plugin, which is in this case sensory. So I will quickly start this system, and we have now we have the commands are running the dishwasher. So if I utter the commands and keywords, so you will see something appearing on this small screen. Hey dishwasher, pro wash. So you can see it's detecting actually the keyword followed by command. Hey dishwasher, 4-hour delay. So there is a keyword timeout actually. If you do not utter the command for some time, it will time out and get into the keyword mode again. Hey dishwasher, start. So you can see it's working. These are the same commands which was generated by Jeff by Sensory, and then given to me, and then I loaded into our system. And our system, like Chelsea, can be accessed as there's like a register map. So I just load. If you look at the script, this is the script actually running in our software. So we are downloading these models, keyword model and command model. Okay, so similarly, we can utter other keywords as well. Hey dishwasher, cancel. Okay. So now I'll go to a now I'll go to a coffee machine demo, where the same system will be used as for coffee machine, which will enable the Jura commands. So the commands which are enabled here is this. Hey Jura. Okay, now it'll time out after some time. Yes. Now I can ask him, hey Jura, cappuccino. Hey Jura, latte. So you can see the keywords and commands are being printed here. Now I'll show you simple another demo. Let's say if you're running a distractor, so I'll play a distractor like a white noise actually. I'll play in the system. I think Zoom might filter out the noises, but I just keep playing the noise. I'm hearing a really huge noise here. Now if I start uttering the keyword, it will not detect. Hey Jura, hey Jura, hey Jura. So it's not detecting because it's a huge noise. It is minus about minus 10 dB SNR, what I have seen actually measured. So it's not detecting. I can pretty much switch on my other camera and show it to you. Okay, so it's actually very high noise that which is going. Very high noise. Okay, so now for this simple system, I'll try to make a multi-microphone system. We'll run this. And you see, this is a 2-microphone system, PDM 0 and 2 is going to algorithm processing front-end engine, and then followed by the same sensory engine, which is running here now. Now with the noise, you can see now if I utter the keyword, it's going to work just normally. Hey Jura, latte. You see, hey Jura, cappuccino. So a single microphone system is now I'll stop the sound, the distractor. Now you can see a single microphone system we turned into a multi-microphone audio front end enabled engine along with sensory VoiceHub. Yeah, so yeah, in case you have any questions, let's get back to us over portal solutions.knowles.com. Yeah, over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sib. And we understand that you're playing the noise loud in your room, but the Zoom platform is actually canceling it out, so the attendees can't really hear it. So I guess that's one of those demos. You need to see it in real life, and it really is loud, I'm sure. And now I'll ask all the panelists to share their video and unmute. And we have about 4 or 5 minutes left for Q&A. And let me see here. So we do have quite a few questions. I'm going to direct this one first to Jeff and then Vikram. So Jeff, is the sensory wake word from VoiceHub robust to noise? And then the second part of the question to Vikram, does the Knowles algorithm have to be tuned for the sensory wake word? So Jeff, is it robust to noise?
Yeah, it's a great question. So VoiceHub is designed to be quick development and easy to use, but it turns out that the performance is actually quite excellent as well. We have a few customers that are going to market with VoiceHub models today. And so they've tested and confirmed that the performance is good enough, even with the VoiceHub model, which has no real data or linguistic tuning. Of course, the other option is that we can hand tune a model where we do collect some data and our linguists do tune it to further improve performance.
And then Vikram, does the algorithm have to be tuned for the sensory wake word?
Yeah, so the algorithm has already been tuned to work with sensory products. So we can actually pass Amazon AQT certification, both with the Alexa trigger word from sensory. So that work has already been done. We have some predefined mic arrays that already pass the required performance.
Okay, and this next question back to you again, Vikram. Can IA8201 use the electric condenser microphone, ECM?
You would have to use an external A to D converter. So, it's best to use PDM microphones with Chelsea.
Okay. And this one might be for Knowles again. What are the typical and worst case distances you see for far field voice wake words?
Yeah, so that really depends upon the number of microphones. So the range and also the performance in negative SNR conditions really depends upon the number of microphones. The more microphones you have in the system, the better range you get.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, Joe, just one additional comment to that one. It also depends on the noise. So as an example, we've got an app called Voice Selfie that uses just a standard microphone on a phone. And I can put my Android phone in the yard and I can walk 75 feet away from that thing and I can yell out Voice Selfie and it takes a picture. So I think there's kind of two answers to that question.
That's true.
Great.
Yeah, there is a SNR ratio, of course. Yeah.
Okay, and I think we have time for one more. Jeff, I'll throw this one to you. Is your assistant compatible to collaborating with other voice assistants?
Absolutely. So we are part of the Amazon interoperability where we can run a custom wake word along with an Amazon wake word along with our Hey Siri wake word as an example, or others where if I say the local wake word, it's going to say, okay, I'm going to this engine here to the on-device stuff. But if I say the Alexa or others, then we can pass the audio onto that cloud engine. So yeah, we can run with those as well.
Okay, great. I want to say thank you to all of our panelists. We are at the top of the hour, and to be respectful of everyone's time, I'm going to end the webinar. This session is recorded and will be available. So if you registered, you will receive a link to the recording within the next few days. And any questions that weren't addressed during the webinar, we will follow up in email. So thank you to everyone and have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks all.
Thanks, bye.